Yeah.
Yeah.
We here, y'all.
You already know.
Yeah.
Paid.
Yes, sir.
Yo,
We're back.
it's me.
We're back.
We here, episode 4.
Best number out here. Hold it down. 4. True athletes.
What a lame.
Wow. Episode 4. We're back.
We here, y'all.
We're here. This is the XenHouse podcast, and we're here for episode 4. Shout out to everybody that has tuned in so far.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
Come on, keep it up. Like, share, do all that good stuff. I'm
This ain't
Des
drink
Hines.
champs, it's water. I'm hydrating.
That's tea.
I don't know what that is.
I drink burn. Nah, that's water. It's
That's
water.
Des
God.
Hines. Who are you, sir?
I'm Des Hines.
Your boy A. Joe.
And Ross B.
Oh,
I'm
he
back.
back.
I'm back.
He back.
I'm back.
My
I'm
boy
back.
He on his R&B singer
I'm
stuff.
back.
I
My
see
boy
what's going
back.
on.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, huh?
Yeah, what's up? You got
That's-
a problem?
Nah, I don't want no
Okay.
trouble.
Okay.
I don't want no trouble. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the transition from high school to college into the real world. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. So we're going to try to break down as much as we can in the time we have. So
From- try to
From
help,
our
too.
perspective.
our perspective, we're
know,
not, certain things we're not, licensed professionals. We're not psychologists.
But we're going to keep
But-
it real.
Okay.
Right.
We'll put it that way.
We've been through some stuff too.
Huh.
Been through a lot.
Hey.
Hmm.
Okay. Ross, start us off. How do we get into this?
I guess we can speak about how it directly correlates into sports, right? Like, how does this start from, right? Like being at home and gaining some confidence and stuff, self-esteem and stuff like that. I guess we want to dabble a little bit into that.
I mean, it sounds like you're saying these parents are soft nowadays.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what he was getting to.
So, in my opinion, right, like a lot of the kids and athletes that we meet and that I've met over the years, even when I was in sports, right, were soft in some ways. Some people can't handle it. I always tell people how in the beginning of the football season, there's 100 kids,
Easily.
Hype. Helmets.
right?
Jerseys.
Next week, after 2 days, is
Conditioning
how many?
tests.
About 50.
Drop.
About 50. And then when that season start,
Mm.
you know who your brothers is, you know who the true players are. So like, if you don't have that thing, right, that's built up in your chest and that's built up in your gut to help you manage and push through, you're not cut out for sports, for the real world. It's going to be tough for you to really, hone in.
And what I was gonna say to that is, this is not a male thing. This is a male, female. This is
everyone.
everyone. This is
Mhm.
it's just something that you have to have. And some people are born with it. Then there's some people that are taught. People learn later.
Yeah.
The flip side to what Ross is saying, can there be too much of that where you don't know when to maybe dial back? Let's say, for instance, I could just relate it to football. Let's say the 2-a-days, we were at one point you're doing those back-to-back days, right? Now, is there a point where as a coach, you got to be like, all right, I'm losing some guys from this pounding nonstop pause. Do we like dial back to preserve our starters, or is there some type of leeway? I mean, I feel like that goes
Hand in hand.
hand in hand with everything.
Well, I think you learn different things from different people. Like growing up, for me, I learned a lot from my community. You know what I mean? Like I was raised with by my dad, and a lot of the things that I learned as far as like being tough and being mindset was just hanging out with the boys. You know what I mean? Like playing outside on the concrete, and you know what I mean. If you fall, you gotta get up.
Get up, bleed.
You know what I
You be
mean.
all right.
What made you get that tough, that Temple tough?
I'm one of 5 boys. That's why I'm greedy with my food, because my brother used to
Oh
try to
my
bully me
gosh,
with my food.
Alex, we know you're 270.
It's all right. I'm
We
not
talking about
270
food.
first off.
Right,
Second off,
it came back to food.
second off, being in a house full of one of 5 boys, you gotta fight.
Mm.
And if you're not fighting, who I'm supposed to go to? Oh, my brothers don't like me. What people come back and say do all the time. They don't start. They be like, the coach don't like me. They don't play. There's
There's always an excuse.
There's always
right?
something. No one's like, yeah, I ain't putting that work, so I got beat. No one accepts that anymore. So that's that BS that goes around. It's contagious.
So how did you learn? What made you so you having to fight for the food and protect what you feel like was yours, build up confidence and toughness?
A combination from the household, sports, friends.
Mhm.
Like you said, you around other people. There's no way I'm letting my boys embarrass me. Do shit like no. It's not flying like that. In college, I learned this terminology of fight or flight. You got 2 choices.
They're not listening, though.
Fight or flight.
You could
boy.
fight or you could flight. Fly your ass away, or you can stay and fight. Which one? Which one are you gonna be?
Yeah.
Just know if you go fly away where it's a situation where you could have fought for, regret eats at you.
You're gonna be flying for the rest of your life.
Regret eats at you. So just know that. You can come home from college and be like, yeah, the coach don't like me. But in 10 years down the line, and when people are like, yo, what happened? Like, I thought you was the man in high school. You know that 50 song? It's the truth. There's a lot of people out there like that. They in high school, it was the shit. They go to college, they didn't realize it was gonna be hard work. It wasn't gonna be, as sweet as they thought. Fairfield County's a little bubble. It's fine.
Yeah.
But we try to tell our athletes here, once you step out of this Fairfield County area, you're in a whole different world.
The stuff gets real fast.
So that mindset that I'm not gonna be a victim, essentially, I don't work. You got to set the tone.
So playing off of that, that's what you grew up in a household with both parents.
Yep.
Right. What did you learn and how did you build up some like self-confidence, self-esteem, and etc.?
Well, I think it's cultural. I think in the culture that I was brought up in, my dad's from Barbados, so that Caribbean side, and then my mom's from Stamford, Connecticut. But with the Southern roots, just discipline, aka ass whoopings. That's a whole nother episode. We can talk about that. But ass whoopings, discipline, just learning how to have responsibility and execute, and being just righteous, and all those good things played a part. That's what helped me. And then hanging out with you guys, if you didn't come prepared with jokes and didn't have thick skin, you would have never made it. We would have never had friends. People nowadays, you say something about them to their face,
You're
and
a bully.
Bullying, and you just got to be ready.
There's always something.
Someone says something about you, say something back.
Right.
And you know yourself better than anyone. So if Alex says something about me, right, it might not be true. Why waste my time being upset? But I got some heat coming back.
Well, I think that if they're your friends, right, and they know every single thing about you, it's gonna be some low blows in there. But
that's life.
You have to, if that's your true best friend, or if that's your true friend, you have to understand when someone is joking and when someone is serious. Yep. If you can't, right,
differentiate the two,
come on,
that's on you.
Then you're not really friends,
right? Like when I'm talking about me and Mrs. Joseph.
Wow.
Our relationship.
Not on camera.
But I'm not gonna go any deeper than that.
I'm not gonna bring up them glasses for
who?
Them tires.
You see?
Inside joke, yo.
Inside.
We're not gonna bring that up, yo. This for kids.
You gotta know. Even for people that don't know you, what are they gonna say? They can make fun of your appearance, but
right. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Don't get upset and just move on. But this sets the foundation for kids growing up, being the
Right.
way they are,
Right.
and then how does that how do you translate from high school going to college? Like what Alex said, we're in a bubble here in Fairfield County. For people that haven't been outside of Fairfield County, and you go out to all of these colleges all across the nation, it could be a little different for you.
Right.
Real different.
We got it good here for the most part.
Right. Everything is accessible.
Yep.
Right. You have the tri-state. You could go to New York. You could go to Mass.
Yep.
You could go to Jersey. You could everywhere. So like it's really easy and accessible to get to everything that you want to do. So that's my thing is, right. And I'm gonna go off on a little tantrum.
Uh-oh. Hit something.
Is like for me, I always try to give people advice based off of what I did and how I did things growing up, right? Like if you don't have someone there to hold your hand or to say, hey, do this, there's so many things nowadays, right? And people that you can talk to and say, hey, how do I do this? Or how can I get to this? Or how can I get to there? Yeah, there's so many resources that, like don't feel like you have to be crammed in and deal with everything by yourself.
Yeah, some people just don't know.
We didn't have Google. You
Nope.
know what I mean? Like we didn't have any of these
We
things.
are that old, yo.
Right. So like it's a little bit easier now to get a hold of things that you might feel like you're dealing with inside of your head and speak to someone about it. Like for me, going from Stanford, to New York and living on my own in a dorm room where I was going to school with no one from Connecticut and everyone was from New York, and they're always outside and doing things with their friends, and they're doing this, they're doing that, and they're moving super fast in the city. For me, it wasn't like that here. Like, yeah, we did things, but it was a little bit different. They were like a little bit more free and understood how to navigate through things, right? And so when I got to Albany, I felt like I was in a bubble by myself. But you know what I did? I didn't fold. I started making friends, right? Like I had enough confidence to go outside and say, hey, I'm Ross. Who are you? Blah, 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 and one thing led to another. I made a lot of good friends.
Y'all hear that? He got out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
I got out of my comfort zone. Yeah, I made myself uncomfortable.
A lot of folks can't do that.
And once I graduated college, like it was easy for me to go to these interviews and be able to speak about myself and, feel confident to go into these interviews and say, hey, this, that, and that. And I know blah, 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 blah. So like, I felt like you have to step out of your comfort zone in order to have any type of self-esteem or confidence or discipline. Well, discipline for me was a little bit different, right? Like I learned that through sports and having structure.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think you want to talk about just like college, high school to college into the real world for you, how that went.
I always go back to this with my family. I'm one of 5 boys, like I said. So that in general helps set the tone in regards to dealing with multiple people constantly. And then playing sports, also dealing with people constantly. Both parents at home. So I got to learn one thing that most people don't want to admit, but compromise with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of that. So that's one thing that helped me become a leader when I played sports is I understood that I can't talk to everybody the same way.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize that in life in general, that, you could talk to people. If you're in a bad mood, you got to be a bigger person, suck it up, and you got to actually figure out what's going on in that current situation, calm down, and, speak it out. But not every person can do that. Some people need to be yelled at. Some people need to be spoken to. Some people need to be pulled aside.
And not spoken at.
But then again, it always comes down to the individual, with pride. Pride goes a long way. It can actually defeat you, and it can build you as well. So it's the best of both worlds. But people don't realize that when you are in a situation where your emotions get the best of you, this is where this transition from being a young boy, for me, talking about myself, but being a young boy going into a teen, then being a full-grown adult, I have to learn to hold those emotions accountable for every action, everything I've done. And most people don't do that because they can't look in the mirror. At the end of it, if you can't look in the mirror, you got a lot of issues to deal with.
Yeah.
And that transition from high school to college to being working in the working world, it carried on, because not only do you go from in a classroom with people in high school to just doing homework together, to in college now you got a big project to do, put together, and then in the real world now you have a job, and if you don't do that job correctly, guess what happens?
Big fella.
You're fired. You out here looking like Tommy from Martin.
Oh my gosh.
Well, he ain't never had a job to be fired.
Well, he
from.
never had a job, true. But at the same time, you'll end up like Tommy with no job if you don't hold yourself accountable. So that's what we're trying to say, where what you do now will carry on. Over each phase of your life. Be the same person every day. It's all right. You're going to have bad days, but at the end of the day, if you got God behind you, if you got, people behind you, a good circle, you're going to hold yourself accountable as well as they will. So you want to be the same person every day at the end of the day.
And continue to learn.
Learn along the way.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Always be open to learn something new.
Continue to learn.
If you think you know it all, you are boo-boo the fool.
That's
about it, man.
What about you, Des?
I think, I'm going to give you the abbreviated version, but basically, being held accountable as a kid, growing up, hanging around dudes like this who will get on you. So you got to be able to, have tough skin. Also, from there, going into college, Stanford is a melting pot. It has all type of people from all over. So I was used to that. Once you get to college, you know how to be around other people, other walks of life, everything, and learning from all different types of people, different cultures, different everything.
Yeah, and they're very different. Like people from the town of Stanford is completely different than Norwalk, Greenwich.
Yep.
So like when you speak to them, especially you going to school in New York,
yeah,
I'm sure it was still like completely different for you.
Yeah, and you got people from all over. Miami, you got Bronx,
right?
You got
everything.
All the boroughs are different alone.
Oh my gosh!
And if a dude is from Brooklyn, he's gonna let you know.
Right.
If a dude is from the BX, they're gonna let you know. So you just know it's all different. So I think that really helped. And like I said, growing up with you guys, we weren't afraid to talk to people. Alex is the biggest talker in the world, but we talk to people. So
we
talking. Just like we're talking right now. So
I was quiet.
Well, he was a little challenged.
Wow.
But hey, we saved him.
We saved him.
You saved me.
We ain't saved that hairline though.
Oh my gosh, we starting.
I'm back.
Okay.
Don't kill him.
Do it.
Don't kill him. So what was I saying?
You were talking about
there's the Nori. Man.
All people from all types of walks of life.
Okay, so all types of life. What I was gonna get to was the transition from high school to college was, I feel like, easy to me. School work wise, my mom and dad were on my ass. C's were not acceptable.
Right.
So I went in. I wouldn't say afraid, but I didn't want to let my parents down. So I was in the books.
Yeah.
Right on top of school. Then.
But this is a before you move on.
Yeah.
So were they on your back so much that you feel like if you didn't get that A, then it was like a complete disappointment?
Like
were they overly on your back?
I think they were on my back early on to the point where I got it. It clicked.
Yep.
So they didn't have to be on my back come college.
Yep.
I knew that I'm gonna put y'all on some game, and I tell kids all the time.
Talk to them.
Okay, here's a secret for athletes and regular kids.
Everyone.
Not regular, but you know what I mean. Kids, if you are athlete or not, if you have chores to do the chores before they tell you to do it. You do it because you know that That's the right thing to do. You do it before they say anything. That way they can't say anything to you. Clean your
Right.
room, take out the trash,
Do the
wash the
dishes.
dishes before people say anything to you, your parents. And there's nothing they can say. Get good grades.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it.
It becomes
It's a
second
prerequisite.
nature.
That's my favorite word.
It becomes second nature.
It's second nature. I was doing all of this stuff because I knew it was right, and I knew that it would make my family happy. And then when it's time to go out and party,
It's easy.
There's
Come
no
on.
questions asked.
Mom,
Did you
No.
clean your room yet?
There's no-
You already did
They
all
never-
that.
they
There's
already
no
know.
questions.
grades are good. Mom, Dad, can I go to this party with Alex and Ross? They like, woo.
You ain't do
You know,
the dishes.
you know.
ain't- Look at the dishes. Look
You
at
know.
look at this. Look at that.
Right? They can't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can go. Right? So that's game, guys. Do it before you're told. All right.
Boom.
Set
And,
yourself
and
up
then
for
that
success.
played out to you in college, right? When you were living, you lived off campus.
I did live off campus.
Okay.
House was
And
clean.
how is the house
Clean.
looking?
House clean.
There you
Not
go.
like trash.
Laundry done.
There you go.
You said-
Not trash.
You see what I'm saying?
Preparation.
So second nature.
So
That's it.
I learned that there was no pressure at that point. Then graduating college, I did go to grad school, but I was living off campus. But going into the real world, putting myself out there to different interviews and talking to people, that was just something that I already did on the football team where, you know how it is, you're vocal, you're leading people, you're doing different things, you're talking to the coaches, you're talking to other people. We get upset now when
Mhm.
kids come into XenHouse and they don't speak to
Right.
us and other athletes that you go to school
That
with.
they go to.
Right.
They're in class with
You're
that.
in class with them and they'll walk by them, nothing.
Yeah.
We're
won't
like,
say a
oh,
word.
aren't you guys in the
So
same?
they carry themselves very differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I wasn't the most vocal, but when I walked in with confidence.
At least
see what I'm
say
saying?
good
So,
morning.
something,
good morning.
You know what I mean?
greet yourself.
Something.
But ultimately, it transitioned into our professional lives. We basically worked together after college.
Yep.
Mhm.
Except these two were bouncers at one point, and I was an honorary bouncer because
he got choked up.
Got choked up.
Who choked me up?
Remember that?
Oh, the girl.
Remember the
We
girl?
ain't gonna talk about. Nah,
Choked up.
that's a whole nother story. But basically, we would hang out. These two would bounce, and I would hang out with them on my Saturday nights because I was a loser.
Wow,
Still.
he's calling us losers.
I
It's
was,
all
a-
right.
I was
Well,
a-
we was getting paid.
We was getting
I
paid while
wasn't
this
getting
loser
paid.
wasn't.
Right?
Who the loser now?
I was the loser. But that then transitioned to training, and then it transitioned to us opening our own spot. And we learned a lot of stuff from college after, but a lot of the stuff that we teach and we preach are from our early years.
From self-value.
But
Right.
think about
Values,
everything that you
values.
said, from your parents to school to exactly what you just said. It started early, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Now, this is another topic. This is going off topic. You know, I'm radical.
Oh my gosh, Lord.
Same thing is it goes with parenting, a child,
Right.
and your dogs.
Right.
It starts early,
Oh my gosh.
Don't get him started.
but that's all I'm saying. It starts
That's
early.
a whole nother topic.
That's
though.
a whole nother
We're
topic.
gonna- we're gonna definitely
But in
get into
general,
that another
overall,
time.
everything that we all said, it started early, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you start a routine early, it becomes second nature. You don't got to question nothing.
Yeah.
Second nature. You stick to the script.
Yep.
But if
And-
you're worried about all this other BS bullshit, yeah, I'm a curse because
Oh my gosh.
I'm over it.
It's time. It's time. Though.
Start
Thank you.
early.
That-
Set the standard early so you don't have to panic later.
That's
Guys,
all I'm saying.
I want to
that's
thank
true.
you
That's
for
true.
Say-
Thank you for
say-
tuning
thank
in.
that.
thank
Thank
you for
that.
tuning in for
Thank that.
episode 4.
It was a good one. We ended off a little bit radical.
We
Cool.
had to. We
But-
had to. It's about to be Thanksgiving next week.
If it's not radical, then we ain't going. Right? You gotta
That's a
go
fact.
off on a little tantrum
That's
a
a
little
fact.
bit.
That's only
or-
right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Thank you for tuning
Appreciate
in,
y'all.
guys. We're out.
Peace. Enjoy your weekend.